I want to show you, they say the closest tendril to the stem, which is this one right here, is all dried out, your watermelon is ready. Plus this one is turning yellow. It's a dwarf sized watermelon, but if you can tell, the whole stem is drying out, dying out all the leaves. So we picked it. Now we're gonna go cut it up and see how we did. So here we go. We're going to cut it up and see how it looks. Looky there. Red seeds, pink. It's beautiful. It was ready. The tasting will be the ultimate test. The ultimate tasting. Oh man, it's sweet. It's good.
Can I taste it?
Wow, yay, it worked.
So you said this is compact basil. I'm doing a video here. So the leaves aren't going to get bigger. They just kind of grow cylindrically. And then you got some of the ones that will have the bigger leaves at the bottom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there's compact basil. You see it there. You just pinch the leaves off, put them on a soup or a pesto or what salsa.
I mean, you'll want to, not a salsa.
What do you want to put them on?
You would put it on like soups, anything with like tomato, like spaghetti, lasagna, but you're gonna want to chop it up.
Yeah, the thing
It smells so good.
thing about basil is it's very aromatic and it smells really good, and tomato plants also do too.
Mm-hmm.
And what's this one?
Oregano.
Ooh, oregano. I've not actually ever seen that one grow.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you put this one on?
Same thing, but mainly like probably poultry, chicken. I mean, like meatballs, sausage. Yeah.
That's true, because when I was in the Army as a cook, we had oregano as a spice. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
I've just not seen the plant growing. You've got chives down here.
Yep.
And chives, I really don't know. Is that kind of, well, yeah, I do. I know how to cut them, because I've cut them before. You just slice them like chop them like a carrot.
Once those get further along, like, and mature, they will flower.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I saw that on that seed pack. Here's, can't tell if this is parsley or cilantro. No, it's parsley.
Parsley.
Uh-huh. Here's the one that kind of bunches, and then this is the Italian flat leaf. And we got some pine trees in here. That's new growth. You can kind of see at the top where it is growing. Tried to salvage them because pine trees actually have health benefits that you don't know about. And then there's more parsley right there. That's the kind that looks nice, and it is actually edible. People don't understand that. All right, so this is the GodSpeed garden. That's what we call it. It's a community garden, and yeah, we'll eat on it first, of course, but whatever's extra, and there's going to be a lot, we'll give to the community. And primarily we've got a lot of tomatoes out here. I've just put a whole bunch of yellow squash out here, and I'll show that to you. We've also got the greenhouse right here, and I just planted a whole bunch more seed trays. It's not too late, but it's getting close to being too late, even in your northern, or especially in your northern locations. And all that back there, 90% of that was started by seed. I'd say about 7 plants were bought, but all the biggest ones were all started by seed, and I'll show you that here in a bit. So the rows are just now starting to come up. This is where we've got primarily yellow squash and cucumbers. It's all kind of a mix. There's another row of yellow squash out here, so we're gonna have a lot of that. I've got cucumbers in the back. We're gonna put this chicken wire fence up here in the back probably and let them train up it. That's what you want to do with cucumbers. You want to keep them off the ground if you can, and you want to pick them early. If they get to going yellow on you, then the whole plant's going to shut down because it thinks it's done. So obviously they're just starting now. And then we've got all our cool weather crops. You can kind of see the rows are coming up. We've got radishes, we've got lettuce, we've got spinach. We've got all kinds of stuff in here. It's really just now coming up. Now the thing with your radishes, you can see these are really bunched together, and I'm probably going to have to thin them out because the radishes, they need a little bit of room to develop to actually get a big radish on it. You're going to get about an inch in diameter on those radishes if you give them enough space to grow. So I'm probably going to have to thin these out. Here are the tomato plants. We did purchase these, and there are a couple different varieties. We've got Cherokee Purple and Brandywine, as you can see right here. And on these plants, the trick is you don't really want any branches touching the ground, because microbes from the soil can actually penetrate through the leaves and give the plant a soil disease. There are different kinds of diseases that plants can get. There's soil diseases, there's pest diseases. I call that pestilence. And you can actually get fungal disease. Fungal diseases are from the water, so you really don't want to get your leaves wet. Now granted, it rains, of course, but when you're watering, the trick with tomato plants, you want to water either in the morning or in the evening, and primarily in the morning. That's the best time to do it, especially if you're not getting steady rain. Plants generally receive an inch of rainfall a week to really do well, but I think they need a little bit more, to be honest. And then the thing with this is you just want to take any standard garden shears, make a clean cut. And the thing with tomatoes is you kind of do want to go prune heavy here. So let's see if I can actually take these apart while holding the camera with the other hand. That's the challenge. Okay, so I got it. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and focus in on here. And you wanna make that cut right on your bottom branches. So let me see here if I can, there we go. And you also see the 45-degree suckers that are growing out from the sides right here where I have this. Those need to come out too, because they're gonna steal and sap energy from your plant. So I'm gonna make a clean cut here. And remember, we purchased these plants, so, you know, the people at the greenhouse, they did a great job with growing them, but when you purchase your plants, you need to do that maintenance. People who don't have a green thumb think, well, you know, they will grow, but you're just gonna get more fruit production on the tomatoes. And yes, tomatoes are a fruit, not a vegetable. I got one more cut to make right here. Okay, so those are now out. And this is a Cherokee Purple, which is going to be, I think, a 10 to 12 ounce fruit. And I'm going to go ahead and trim this one right here as well. You want to cut it as close to the stem as you can. And I'm also getting that sucker with it too. So that one came off. Here, you want to pinch these out. And now that one's out. But we're not done with this plant because look, you can see 45-degree suckers still growing out. And actually this one up here is getting rather large right there. So we're actually going to go ahead, and you can't really take your pruners in here because it's at that degree. So I'm just going to go ahead and yank that out. I'm going to get that one out. I'm going to go ahead and get that one out. And now for the big one. I gotta really make sure that this is not the top of the plant, because sometimes you really can't tell. And it looks like the top of the plant is right here. You can kind of see it. So when you unfurl the leaves a little bit, there's that growth right there. That's the top of the plant. You can see where it's going to flower and fruit right here. We've already got them on there. So I should be fine to come in here and pull this one out. I just have to be careful. And I pinched it out. Now, when I come out, you can see the plant does look cleaner. As I zoom in, it does look cleaner. I could actually probably take this bottom branch off right here too. I mean, you need some leaves because that's how the plant gets chlorophyll and provides energy to grow upward. But I could probably take that off because it's pretty close to the ground, and I'm going to do that actually. Like I said, you want to kind of get trim happy with these tomatoes. You don't want to go like all the way up, obviously, because they need energy. But now it looks a lot cleaner. And I'll move on down after this video, and I'll go ahead and get the rest of those plants. All right, now, show you we've got some lettuce in here. Broccoli, we got this from the food pantry. Somebody had donated it. It actually looks really good. It's really starting to grow, but I'm really going to show you some broccoli. It's going crazy over here. These are pumpkins. They just now come up. They're about 2 weeks from planted. Maybe 3. I can't remember. It might be 3. And they're now getting their first sets of true leaves on them. Here we've got some sunflowers. This is all planted from seed in our grow room, and they're about to flower. We've got some squash over here. The biggest plant was started by seed, and that's this one right here. It doesn't have any fruits on it yet, but you can just see how many leaves there are. Right here, we had an issue, so you can see how many fruits have set here. These 3 were bought by Chaos Girl. She bought them, and I put them in the ground, and they're doing really well. This is called straight neck summer squash. It's a yellow squash, as you can see. It's not curved on the neck, so they're straight. And usually your straight neck squash, if you let them mature far enough, they'll get bumpy when the skin gets a little tougher. Right when the skin is getting just hard enough to where you're having a hard time piercing it with your fingernail, that's when you want to pick it. You really want to pick them pretty young and early, because it's going to encourage more fruiting of the plant. We've got more in here. And we were having a problem with the ends of them rotting off, and we didn't understand why that was happening. And I think it's because they're just laying on the ground and there's not enough circulation under it for air to move. So you might, if they're just sitting on the ground, like you see how these are just suspended, but that one over there is kind of sitting on the ground, you might want to just pick it up when they first start fruiting like this, and they won't rot on you. Got more tomatoes here. This is all by seed. Got more of the pumpkins right here. We're going to train on the fence. This tomato plant right here, it's about 4 feet tall. It's shoulder height on me. That was started by seed in our grow room. It actually had a branch break off, and it's still connected to the plant right here. There you can see it. See where it snapped? And it's just trailing down, but it's got tomatoes that are going to form there, so we're going to keep it there, and we're going to tie it up to this white stake. Here's another tomato plant grown by seed, and the broccoli plants. These here were all grown by seed, and look at how massive they are. They're huge. Everything's just taken off out here. I've never grown broccoli. This is the first year I've ever grown it, and I'm assuming that it's going to form in the center. The florets will come on. I think that's how it works, but this right here's probably about, well, it's waist high broccoli, so it's probably about 3 feet tall already. It looks really good. And this is a cool weather crop, so it's like your lettuce, your onions, your carrots, your radishes, your celery. Those are all cool weather crops. Your tomatoes and your vining crops, whether they are determinate or not, tomatoes are determinate and indeterminate, and indeterminate means like this, they'll just sprawl everywhere. That's why it's important to prune those suckers out so they grow even taller, but your determinate types will be more compact and bushy. And you'll have to just know what tomato type you're growing. It'll either say on the seed packet or when you buy it at the plant nursery, whether it's going to be compact or sprawling out. But your vining plants are the same way. So these straight neck summer squash, they're actually all going to be determinate compact types, and you can container garden with those. So you can put them in a 5-gallon bucket, you can put them in a large pot on your porch or your deck, and they're going to grow very well. Just fine. They'll have enough room for roots, they'll produce the fruits like you saw there, and they'll go all year long. So I'll show you one little tip on the greenhouse. We're having a little bout of cooler weather right now, where the highs are only getting a little over 70, and for June that's very cool. So it's nice to keep it cool. It's nice to keep the greenhouse closed. We don't have anything growing on this side, but I just made 3 seed trays right there. And we've got lots of tomatoes and summer squash going. So that's all I got for this video. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. And tune in for more gardening tips right here from the GodSpeed Garden.